Just bear with me for a moment.
No problem at all. Take your time. And
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another Ask, Learn, and Do series with Education in Ireland. Today, we are speaking to Dr. Enda Fallon, who is head of the Department of Computing and Software Engineering at TUS, Technological University of the Shannon. We'll be talking to him about their MSc in Software Design and Digitalization. Very welcome, Enda, and thank you for doing this with us today.
no problem at all, Anam. And as always, thank you very much for having me.
Wonderful. So, Enda, it sounds like a very interesting combination. Speaking from someone who doesn't have an engineering or a software or a digital background, so maybe you could just begin by giving us an idea about this particular masters, a bit of an overview, and I just tell the audience in the meantime, if you have any questions for Enda about this master's, about studying at TUS, then please, share it in the comments below and we'd be happy to take your questions. Enda, over to you.
Thanks, Anam. Thank you very much. Anam, I suppose, as we've spoken previously on this, let's say 10 years ago, 100% of our research projects were in the area of software design, software engineering. And what we've seen over the last 2 years is about 60% of our industrial-oriented projects are now in the area of digitalization. So there's a huge transition towards digitalization. And I suppose we don't have the number of graduates that we need in the area. So we have highly successful master's programs in artificial intelligence, cloud native computing, and cybersecurity, as Ishta will explain in a few minutes. But we see a real need from the Irish government for the area of digitalization. And what I can do is maybe explain the concept of digitalization, if that's suitable.
Yes.
Yeah, so the area of digitalization basically means it ties together a number of key areas. One is sensors, the other is data analytics, and the third is visualization. So it's basically the concept that, as a manager, let's say you're managing a factory, what you're able to do is to take all of the metrics that are available on the machines and the production machinery, you're able to store it, you're able to apply machine learning to it, and you're able to visualize the systems in order to get the best possible performance out of your manufacturing. And what we're finding is there's a huge interest in this area, and nobody has those skills that are required.
Oh, wow. And what about I know this is the program that you have just recently developed, and as you've said, there's a need for it, so you've opened it up to international students starting this September. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about what is the duration, what can students expect in terms of the various semesters?
Yes, so the program was opened up. We are very reactive. We work with about 90 different companies, and the Irish government is very strong in supporting courses that are applicable to our industrial partners. So this was opened up to Irish students in January, and it was highly successful, and it was funded through the Irish government. And now what we want to do is to meet the demand that is out there by opening it up to our international students. So it will be 3 semesters in duration, at 12 months in duration. And in semester 1, what you will look at is the ability to basically source data and to store it. And then in semester 2, what you will be looking at is the ability to apply machine learning strategies to that. So there's a huge overlap in artificial intelligence, and the ability then to visualize it in a way that's meaningful to the management in an organization. I think that's probably one of the reasons, and this course has been so successful, is that it really, it can be seen as really applicable to the management within the organization. Process optimization, explainable computing, even yourself, in your day-to-day activities, I'm sure you could see the need for a course such as this.
Definitely. And I'm going to ask you a few more details about these the exact sort of modules that you're offering.
Sure.
But before we do that, maybe you could tell us, what are the sort of who are the sort of people that should typically apply for this particular background? What sort of background should they actually have, and what skill sets will they develop over this 1 year?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Adam. So it's basically people with an ICT background. So people with some form of ICT qualification, that could be in software engineering or in electronics or data analytics or business computing. And the skills that they will develop are skills to basically interface to different sources of data. So, for example, in a healthcare environment, that may be database systems, or it could be body sensor networks that are worn by patients. In a manufacturing environment, it could be, looking at manufacturing equipment. And then it's about the ability to structure that data in database form, and then the ability to apply machine learning to develop patterns and historic performance. And then the most important part, probably within that, is visualization, the ability to visualize the data so that it makes sense.
I see. And I know you talked about how what your modules are geared towards problem solving. Could you tell me a
Yeah.
little more about that?
Yeah, and that's really interesting. I'm literally coming out of a meeting with a company
Uh-huh.
who are going to act as product owners on this course. And what the company basically do is they manage the retail facilities, such as the likes of restaurants, such as McDonald's or pubs or restaurants. And what they are responsible for is facilities management. And what they want is a detailed insight into whether maintenance is required within these different retail outlets. So, for
Right.
example, is there something that's broken? Is there a piece of tile that's broken on the floor, or are the floors slippy?
Mhm.
And that's important with regard to health and safety. So it's very important that that information is reported very, very quickly. Um, and then what they're also looking at is, if you take, for example, air conditioning. So obviously sustainability is a massive area, with huge additional costs in terms of electricity at the moment. So
Mhm.
optimization of heating and ventilation based systems. We can see that there's a huge potential saving in that area, both from a sustainability point of view and from a financial point of view. But like, how do you quantify that, and how do you visualize it, and how do you explain it, and how do you optimize it? So that's a real project that will be coming in, that the guys will be acting as product owners, and our students will be linking through with them.
Oh, wow. So it's literally problem solving and working towards a very relevant, sort of solution to everyday and sustainable uh, problems. So that's great. So, um, how about, I know you have a lot of, you've talked about the companies that you're in touch with. That's how you've created these modules. And is there any aspect of the modules that involves working with these particular companies, getting that sort of exposure?
Absolutely, Anam. So we're incredibly industrial oriented, and as I've said, we react to the needs that is there in industry, and we have a 93% employment rate among our graduates. It's the highest of any university in Ireland. And in semester 3, you will go on a work placement with these
Mhm.
companies. And in semester 2, there's a 10 credit engineering team project where
Mhm.
you will take a real world problem. You will apply technical solutions to it, for example, in the area of data analytics or machine learning or explainable computing, and
Mhm.
you'll publish an article on behalf of the company. So what it means is that from semester 2, you're working with a specific company,
Right.
you're working as part of a team, you're problem solving, and then you're publishing an article, and then you're getting work experience with the company. I suppose from our point of view, you can imagine as an interviewer
Mhm.
interviewing that candidate.
Yeah.
So what we want is candidates that are really interactive, are able to understand problems, and are able to solve them. And as you talked about with the problem solving, that's where it really comes in. So I think our students are really well placed, and that's why we have such a high employment rate as well.
Great, great. And what? And I know you've talked about students a couple of times. You've just started this particular program. What sort of class sizes can students expect?
Yeah, so we take a very personal relationship with our students. So we will get to know all of our students, and the reason we do that is our companies want to know our students.
Hmm.
So they will be coming in, as I said, in that situation, they'll act as product owners. So there'll be a class of 15 to 20 that'll be working together on this particular stream. So they will be co-located with the MSCs in artificial intelligence, cloud native computing, cybersecurity, and digitalization. So you're getting a lovely mix of backgrounds, of capabilities, and you are also getting a very personal touch. So the lecturers really get to know the students, they know their strengths, and they become advocates for the students. So when companies come to them, we're very, very keen to link through for research or for job opportunities.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then, what sort of career prospects can graduates expect after completing this master's?
The reality of it, and is we're just not producing enough software engineering graduates in Ireland. And I need to be absolutely clear. That doesn't mean you're going to come to Ireland, you're going to get your degree, and you're automatically going to get a job. Like what we're looking for is people that are willing to come, that have good technical skills, that are hard workers and good communicators.
Hmm.
If you have that skill set, there's nothing stopping you excelling in Ireland. So I believe the starting salary this year would be around 40,000, 42,000 per year. And there's nothing to stop you increasing that salary significantly. I know of graduates 3 years out that are on 85 and 90,000 euros based on ability. So Ireland is is the second largest exporter of software in the world, and the largest software company in Ireland is located right beside us here in Ericsson. So if you're willing to come to Ireland, if you're a good team player, if you're a good communicator, a hard worker, and you have the technical skills, you can imagine yourself, Anam, if you were in an interview. If that sort of candidate comes into you, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Wonderful. And I know, Enda, you've been, of course, doing this for a long time and teaching for a long time. So, do you think that international graduates do have as much of a chance of, being employed after they graduate?
Absolutely. So the 93% of employment is across the board. I mean, from our point of view, once you're a TUS student, regardless of your background, where you've come from, you're a TUS student, and we will advocate for you in exactly the same way, and the company's looking at in exactly the same way. As a master's graduate, you have a 2 year option for visa to work in Ireland, which is a huge opportunity. And what we're finding, and I'll be absolutely honest with you, is our students are our best communicators and advocates. So what we're finding is the companies that our students have worked for are coming back to us to do work. And that makes us really proud, that it's our students that are coming back to us saying, listen, I'm working with a company, they've heard what you're doing, would you have more graduates? So we've had examples of a number of multinational companies that have come to us on that basis.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm sure there are a couple of questions about the fee structure. So I'm going to quickly jump in and have Ishita
I said,
join.
Hi, Anda. Hi, Anam. How are you?
Hi, Ishita. Nice to see you. And so you're coming here. Of course, Enda has given us a wonderful picture of this particular master's program. You're here to give us hard facts and tell us what what is the sort of tuition fee that students can expect for this particular master's for September.
So, for MBA in software design with digitalization, the course fees is 15,500 euros, and we have merit based scholarships of up to 3,000 euros.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and also had four other master's program in software design, which are completely full now, which are artificial intelligence, cloud native computing, so software engineering, and cyber security. So this is another program, and we are seeing good sort of engagement from the students, because the course modules are similar to what they wanted to opt for, because there were certain students who couldn't come onto the programs what Enda offers.
I see, I see. And so is this particular program open for this September 24? Can students still apply?
Yeah, they can apply.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. And how much time do they have? Can you talk us a little bit about the application process for them and the deadline?
Yeah. So basically, they don't. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time now. So the applications most probably will be closed by 1st or 2nd of June.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to apply, they should be applying now immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and they can get in touch with us at the international office, and we can let them know what are the different academic documents which are required to assess an application. Like Enda mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
from the similar ICT areas can apply. If they have good work experience, they can apply for this program. I think in India we do get certain queries. You would have heard that I'm 35, I'm 37. Would I be eligible? They are eligible because they have that immense knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and these all programs are industry-based programs. So company professionals are looking for such individuals. So even the students, they might not have a degree in ICT, but if
Mm-hmm.
they have good work experience for X number of years, they can definitely apply with us.
Wonderful. So, I mean, I know you said there isn't, but there are 2 weeks. There's still some time, and it's a
Yeah.
wonderful program. So, everyone should make the most of that. And maybe, are you on campus right now? I'm wondering if we
I
can
am
tell
absolutely. Yep.
students or give them
Yeah.
a little bit of a view.
Absolutely. So, what I can do is we have a bespoke room, Adam, specifically for a master's program that we do with Ericsson. So, I can basically show you around it if that's okay.
That'll be
So,
perfect. Yeah.
so the students are with Ericsson at the moment. So
Uh-huh.
that's why they're not on site, and the next cohort will be starting in a couple of weeks. So the room is basically configured exactly the same way it would be within Ericsson. So
Uh-huh.
it's split into groups of six. And the intention is that you work as a team. So you can basically see that the students will turn back to back when they're
Right.
working collaboratively, and they'll
Mhm.
actually work with each other. So it's very, very problem based and task
Right.
based. And this particular master's program is an example of a need that
Mhm.
there is within the Irish software sector. So Ericsson specifically designed this master's program for people to convert um, into ICT, because that's how short we are of graduates in the sector, you know. And
Right.
what it illustrates is the real need, and I suppose the flexibility that there
Mhm.
is with regard to our offerings. Um, this program was basically designed and ran in January.
Mhm.
It was requested by the Irish government to meet a specific need, and that's why we're now in a position very rapidly to deploy it in September. So we could have waited for the year, but it's the only masters of its kind that's addressing those specific technical needs. And as I said, 60% of our projects are in digitalization now. So we have one company a week coming to us looking at specifically at digitalization. And I suppose, as I said, from a common sense point of view, um, because it's so applicable to the management within an organization, everybody wants to look at what's happening and get data on it, get metrics on it in a way that's explainable. Really, the program completely taken off, and there's no other program that's addressing that broad range of skills. You know, so data integration, machine learning, visualization. Um, so it's really interesting, and we're really looking forward to it. And Ishta, I don't know if you're on the call there. We're literally meeting a company this morning that are going to act as product owners for the students coming in. So we're already working on it.
That's amazing. That's
Amazing. And Enda, maybe could you tell us about? I mean, you are of course heading this department. Who can students expect to be taught from? What are the different backgrounds of professors for this masters?
Yeah, so a lot of we have a really interesting department. So there's 700 students within the department, and it's a very postgraduate oriented department in that about roughly 50% are postgraduate. So they're master's students or PhD students. And the reason for that is because we're so linked with industry. So industry are heavily funding our courses and our research activities. So all of the lectures, there's 43 lectures within the department. So all of whom have either a mix of heavy duty academic backgrounds or from an industrial background. So you're getting a lovely mix together. So as I said, the company that we took in this morning, what they really liked was, in our Smart Manufacturing Research Centre, you have final year students and PhD researchers both working together. And as you can imagine, there's a lovely exchange and to a certain extent, a little degree of competition as well. Some people are industrial
Healthy.
oriented, some are academic oriented, and that's fine. Um, but it's a great environment to work in. Anishta, I know you've been here before and you've seen some of the work we're doing. So it's a lovely environment to actually work in and a lovely environment to study in. I hope.
I'm sure. I'm sure we've been to the TUS campus, and in fact, maybe we can tell everyone which particular campus is this master's being taught at.
Yeah, so it's been taught at the TUS Midlands campus, so in Athlone, right in the centre of Ireland. Athlone it's about by car. It's about an hour it's about an hour from Dublin city centre and about an hour and a quarter from the airport, or roughly about 2 hours by bus. When they built the motorway system a number of years ago, and we realised how small Ireland was in comparison to countries such as India, so you'll have to forgive us for that. There's Irish everywhere, all over the world, but we're about 45 minutes in Galway on the west coast, on the Atlantic coast, and then we're about an hour from Dublin on the east coast. So very well positioned. And you've got 16 of the top 20 multinational companies in the world have their European headquarters within an hour and a half of here.
Amazing. I mean, I just wanted to say, when Ishita was closer to where I was, so that was Delhi to maybe Gurgaon was about 45 minutes to an hour. So
Without
yeah, without traffic. So for us, that's something that a lot of people do every day when they travel from one part to their office. So yeah, so that's how close things are, which is wonderful. So even if you're in Athlone, you can go over the weekend to other cities, or travel a lot. So that's great to know how well connected actually Ireland is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as you know, we're a small country, but as you know, we've got a strong immigrant past. So you have Irish people in the diaspora all over the world. We're on the west coast of Europe and very much European, but very much facing towards America as well. So the next parish off one side is New York, and off the other side it's the UK. So huge links into Europe. And I suppose since the UK left the European Union as well, we're the last English-speaking country within the EU. So there's a great atmosphere in the country, and there's huge opportunities for people that are willing to work hard. And I suppose what I said earlier is, when you come here, the opportunities are there for you. You have to work. And you have to work to take those opportunities. But if you do, there's a huge amount you can achieve. And Ishta would have seen that over the years with our international students as well.
And we have a question from the audience. Would prior experience help when applying to this particular program?
Absolutely. It's a huge assistance, because what we want the students to do is to take responsibility for their own learning. And if we work back to front, when you have a student who's in an interview, what you want them to be able to explain is why they did things. So they took on a final year project. Well, why did you take it on? What was the problem you were trying to solve? And then how did you solve it? to have industrial experience is huge in that decision making process. And
Mhm.
then the 10 credit engineering team project in semester 2, we're very open to students selecting what they want to do if they can give a rationale for it academically. And then the placement in semester 3 will allow them, huge opportunity to express themselves.
Wonderful. So, since we're coming to an end, maybe if you could, um, in 3 words, tell me what is, you know, the highlights of this program, maybe from both you, Enda and Ishita.
I'll go, Ishta, and then you can go if you want to. So I would say is enabling the student to achieve what they want to achieve. So, Ishta, I'm going to put you on the spot now for the next one.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, not just this program, all of the programs, what and I have, it's the beauty is that you want to study, even if you want to study something else. You might be studying artificial intelligence, for example, but you want to have, you want to probably work on a project in cybersecurity.
Mhm.
Department is so nice that they will go out of their way to help the students. So that's how it is. And all the programs, specifically we'll talk about the digitalization. There's data mining, there is data business strategies, lot of software related and as well as outside modules are there, so students get to study a lot of things. And plus at the end of the year, that is the third semester, because it's a tri semester in 1 year, students have an option to probably go for work placement, or they can work on a research project. And if they're interested to pursue research or say PhD with us, they can look forward for that, because we do have a lot of students who have enrolled for
Mhm.
PhD programs after completing their masters with us, and everybody wants to stay with Enda. So there's a larger
It's
platform.
popular.
Good one
Yeah,
come to India, and I'm sure students would be really happy to get insights, from you live.
Ishita, I already, when I spoke to him last week, I already asked him to come down and speak to you about doing it during our road show.
I'm calling us 4 years.
yeah, we
Let's
will.
make
Well, I promise, absolutely.
make it happen.
Ishta, just by the way, one of our previous students, Shubham. So Shubham basically did one of our programs, was sponsored for a PhD by Ericsson. Just to let you know, he got his journals accepted to progress to graduation this year. So he's heavily in the process of documenting his thesis at the moment. So delighted for him as well. So
wonderful.
yeah, great.
He's a great.
Wonderful.
Probably, Anam, I'll just take 20 seconds just to
Mhm.
explain how Shubham came into the fourth year of our program. He was a student from BVU Pune, and
Mhm.
he was so excellent. He was straight away put for PhD program, no masters, no higher diploma, and straight away he's
Right.
assistant professor at UCD and also with us.
Right.
And he was working with Ericsson, then with a Mastercard, and and I said, his PhD has been approved. And he's a very young boy, and like him, we have so many other examples, Indian examples like Kshitij, Ashima. So
Yeah,
is an opportunity for the Indian students to explore, go out, explore, study hard, and then achieve whatever they can.
No, and that's
absolutely.
it's definitely heartening to hear of other examples and of Indian students who are doing well, who are staying back, continuing to contribute. And one last question is on we've talked about companies and sort of exposure that the masters gives. Would students be favored with certain companies like Ericsson post completing their degree if they've done perhaps performed well on their projects? Would they be in line to maybe get a more permanent sort of job with the company?
Absolutely, and and I'm not exaggerating. We literally met a company this morning who have a project who they want to act as product owner, who they want the students to begin to look at that project so
Mhm.
that they can continue into employment. So when we get to know our students, it's specifically to advocate for them so that we're opening up those opportunities. And from our point of view, the companies want to speak to the students. It's not that we're asking the companies. They're coming to us as well. And as I said, Ishta, a lot of the time it's our former students that are initiating those links as well. So Ireland is like India. It's very similar in terms of networking. you know Everybody gets to know everybody. Everybody kind of looks out for each other. It's a community. And as I said earlier in the presentation, once you're a two student, you're a two student for life. And I suppose from our point of view, that has huge benefits, because a lot of the senior managers in these organizations are our former students, and they know how we operate.
Wonderful. So that's, a lot to say about TUS then. I keep saying TUS and I have to correct myself. I think it's TUS,
That's
right?
okay.
Yeah,
Either
that's
either is fine. Yeah,
okay. But thank you. I mean, I think we've had a wonderful chat and got to know a lot about
excellent.
this particular program. Thank you, Enda, and this has been great. And I mean, I've also learned a lot, and that's what Ishita was saying, that we speak to students so often over here, and always happy to learn more about these, very interesting programs that are, so much in demand right now, literally meeting the needs of the Irish economy, churning out very skilled graduates with the right sort of skills. So, thank you again for doing this with
No
us.
problem.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. And, good luck.
And
Everyone, you have
Adam,
2 weeks. Yes.
as I said to you in the previous meeting, Anishta, I said to Tana, she's more than welcome to join the program herself as well if
Yeah.
she wants to. We'd be delighted to have you over here. So
I
thank you
don't have
very
the
much.
experience, but Enda said he would help me make make it through. Yeah.
So
Thank you. So, thank you again, and good luck to everyone. You have 2 weeks to apply, and you can reach out to TS International here in South Asia with Ishita. And thank you again, Enda, and everyone. Have a
no
great
problem,
week
Adam.
ahead,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Thank
Anna.
you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks.
See you
Bye bye.
soon. Bye bye. Thank you.